Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to discuss the MCQ paper of 2021 O-Level. So let's move on to question number 1. So the first question says, to which of the following organizational levels does human heart belongs? So as you know, heart, stomach, brain, those are collection of tissues, right? So all of these are called as organs. So answer should be organs, right? So cell, what is a cell? Cell is a structural function unit of life is called as cell. Tissue means a collection of cells of one type or different types, which are modified to perform a special function and have a common origin. Then system is made up of collection of organs. So example for systems, you can say excretory system, digestive system, etc. Okay, let's move on to question number 2. Hydrocarbons contained in LP gas in its major component are. The meaning of LP gas here means liquid petroleum. So liquid petroleum contains propane and butane. Answer number 2. So propane, if you consider its molecular formula is propane, its prop means carbon number 3. So it's C3H8. If it is butane, carbon number should be 4. So it will be C4H10. So you can see this in gas cylinders as well, propane and butane. Now let's move on to question number 3. What is the unit of the amount of work? So work done is equal to force into distance, right? Work is equal to force into distance. So force is equal to mass into acceleration times distance. So here mass, we measure mass in kilograms, acceleration in ms minus 2 meters per square second, and distance in meters. So altogether we'll get the answer as kg m squared s minus 2. Answer fourth one. Then let's move on to question number 4. Which of the following is not a characteristic of the cardiac muscle tissue? See, cells being mononuclear, that's a characteristic. Only multinuclear muscle is skeletal muscle. So second one, occurrence of interkaryotics, that's also correct. You can see that in cardiac muscles. Then cells are being branched, that's also correct. Then they are acting voluntary, and that's wrong. Cardiac muscles are involuntary controlling. We cannot control cardiac muscle. We cannot control the heartbeat of a person. Okay. So fourth one, answer is 4. Question number 5. A seed observed by a student during a field study is shown in the diagram. This seed is dispersed by. So as you can see, here there are wing-like structures. So these wing-like structures can be mainly seen in seeds dispersed by wind. Question number 6. Which of the following quantity increases uniformly in an object moving with a constant acceleration? So if it's constant acceleration, even we are drawing a VT graph, velocity time graph, we mark acceleration, uniform acceleration like this, which means the quantity which increases uniformly is velocity. Okay, so when velocity is increasing uniformly, we call that as a constant acceleration. So answer is answer number 3. Question number 7. Which of the following is equal to potassium calcium atoms? So here, if you see this number, potassium you have atomic number 19 and mass number as 20, right? So this mass number is equal to number of protons plus number of neutrons, and this atomic number is equal to number of protons. It's equal to number of electrons as well if the atom is in a neutral position. If it is a charged atom, then this electron number will be changed. Okay, so here you can see out of potassium and calcium, they have different number of protons, right? 19, 20, they are different. So they are asking which of the following is equal. So equal should be the mass numbers that are present here. So mass number consists of protons and neutrons. So the answer should be sum of number of protons and neutrons. Answer number 4. Question number 8. Which property of water causes water to be used as a cooling agent to remove excessive heat generated in an automobile engine? So first one, having high specific heat capacity, that's correct. That should be the answer. What is specific heat capacity? It's the amount of heat absorbed by an object or a compound to increase its temperature by 1 unit in a unit mass, right? So in a unit mass, the amount of energy that we should supply to increase the temperature by 1 unit is called as specific heat capacity. So if it is high, then it has more cooling ability. Okay, so it has the ability to absorb more amount of heat with very less increasement of the temperature. So other answers are wrong. Having high boiling point, having colorless liquid, high density, they are not related to this one. So the answer for question number 8 is first one. Question number 9. In the process of digestion of food, bile necessary for the emulsification of lipids is produced in. So bile is produced in should be liver. If they ask it is temporarily stored in, it should be in gallbladder, right? And it is secreted into duodenum along with the pancreatic juice. Question number 10. What is the essential element for the production of thyroxine hormone in the thyroid gland? The answer should be iodine. If you can remember a disease called as goiter, so in that, when there is iodine deficiency in the body, there will be swelling in this thyroid gland. That's why you can see people with goiter will have a swollen neck because the thyroid gland will be swelling in there. Okay, let's move on to question number 11. How much is the mass of sodium chloride contained in 100 cubic centimeters of a sodium chloride solution of concentration 1 mole per decimeter cube? So, read the question. They say the concentration is 1 mole per decimeter cube, which means 1 decimeter cube will have 1 mole of the given substance, right? So, for 1 decimeter cube, how many cubic centimeters? There are 1000 cubic centimeter, which means 1000 cubic centimeter will have 1 mole in it. So they're asking for 100 cubic centimeters, how much? Then you can find it, right? For 1000, it's 1. For 100, it should be 1 over 10. So they're asking the mass of sodium chloride. So to find the mass, we can use the equation. Number of moles is equal to mass over molar mass. So number of moles, we found it as 1 over 10 or 0.1. Mass, we don't know. Molar mass, they have given sodium 23, chlorine 35.5. Add together, you'll get 58.5. Cross multiply, you'll get mass is equal to 5.85 grams. Answer is answer number 3. Question number 12. This is based on a female reproductive system given a diagram. They are asking RNS respectively represent. Right. So you can see P represent the ovary, Q represent the fallopian tube. They are asking for RNS. So R should be the uterus and S should be the vagina. Answer is answer number 1. Uterus and vagina. Then question number 13. An ovum fertilized with a sperm in, it should fertilize within Q, which means in the fallopian tube. Okay. And it will be implanted in the uterus. That means in R. Okay. Right. Next one, question number 14. The image of a real object produced by a convex mirror is always. So you should remember this. Convex mirrors and concave lenses will always have images, virtual, upright, and diminished ones. Okay. Virtual, upright, and diminished ones. So let's read the answers. It should be third one, virtual and smaller than the object. Also, another thing for you to remember, in each and every optical instrument, whether it's a mirror or whether it's a lens, in anything, if an image forms virtual, then it should be upright. If an image is real, it should be inverted always. So virtual and upright. If it is real, it should be inverted. Okay. So for this, convex mirrors and concave lenses, it should be virtual, upright, and smaller than the object. Or we call it as diminished. Question number 15. What is the increasing order of pH of 4 solutions? HCl, then you have CHCOOH, NaOH, and NH3. So let's remind what is pH. So in pH scale, you have 0 to 14, right? Like this, you have 7 in the middle, 14, and 0, right? So what you have to know is 7 is the neutral value. For an example, you can take normal water as an example. So if you are moving on to this 14 side, it becomes more and more basic. Basicity increases. Okay. And if you move less than 7, which means acidity will be increasing. Right. So usually neutral, then around 4, 5, 6. Likewise, these numbers should consist of weak acid, and towards the 0 side, it should contain strong acids. And in the other way around also, near the neutral ones, which means near 7, it should have weak base, and near the 14, it should have strong base. So you can have an idea regarding this. Okay. So let's consider they have given HCl. So HCl, you should know it's a strong acid. So it should come first. Let's see what's the strong base position here. It's sodium hydroxide. So there should be answer starting from HCl and ending with sodium hydroxide, right? So let's see, is there any answer? Here you go. You have second answer, HCl. Then you have acetic acid, ammonia, and sodium hydroxide. So answer is answer number 2. Let's move on to question number 16. Here they ask what is the number of carbon dioxide molecules in 22 grams of carbon dioxide. So first, let's find number of moles in 22 grams of carbon dioxide. So to find that, we are using number of moles equal mass or molar mass equation. So here they are given 22 grams. Molar mass of carbon dioxide, you calculate carbon 12, oxygen 16 times 2. So altogether you'll get 44 grams per mole. So here you'll get half mole. So we call it as 0.5 moles, right? So 0.5 moles of CO2 molecules are available, which means in each carbon dioxide, you have 2 oxygen molecules connected with it. Okay, so they are asking what is the number of carbon dioxide molecules in 22 grams of carbon dioxide, which means always if there's number of molecules or number of atoms, you should multiply the moles by the Avogadro number, which means here the number of moles is 0.5 moles, or we can write it as 22 or 44 times the Avogadro formula 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. This should be the answer. Answer number 1. Then moving on to question number 17. The chemical formula of the chemical fertilizer urea is CONH2 twice. Say the correct statement about urea. Read. Urea possesses the properties of constituent elements. A molecule of urea has 2 carbon atoms. No, it has only 1 carbon atom. A molecule of urea has 4 hydrogen atoms. Yeah, that's correct. H2 times 2. Here you can see a bracket, right? So that should be the correct answer. Fourth one, the total number of atoms in urea molecule is 7. It's not 7. Here you have NH2 means you have 3 atoms. Then 3 atom times 2, you have 6 here. Then 6 plus these 2, you get 8. So it's not 7. Okay. So first answer is also urea possesses the properties of its constituent element. That's wrong. Because urea as a whole thing, it will have its property. But when you take carbon separately, oxygen separately, you cannot get that constituent element properties. For an example, let's say carbon is a solid, oxygen is a gas, right? So, but urea is a solid one. Yeah, urea is a fertilizer. Okay, so it should be a solid one. So urea or any other molecule will not possess the properties of its constituent elements. Okay, so always there will be a collective effect. Let's move on to question number 18. Which of the option contains only the compounds that are found in the glomerular filtrate but not in urine of a healthy person? Okay, so this means it should get filtered in ultrafiltration and it should be reabsorbed completely, right? So there are only 2 molecules which are coming under this, that is glucose and amino acid. These glucose and amino acids, they will be filtered from the glomerulus into the Bowman's capsule and it will be reabsorbed 100% from the tubules of the nephron back again to the body. So in a healthy human, you cannot find glucose or amino acid in the urine. Let's move to question number 19. A jackfruit of mass 10 kg is falling freely from a height of 5 meters of a jack tree. So you can draw this in a small picture. You have a jack which is falling from 5 meters height. They're asking what's the velocity, will it hit the ground? Okay, so they're asking this velocity. Okay, so for this to find, we have to apply law of conservation of energy, which means the potential energy of the fruit at top of the tree should be converted to kinetic energy when it's coming to the ground. Okay, so potential energy equation that we are going to use is mgh. Kinetic energy equation is half mv squared. So here same mass, you can cancel the mass off. So g will be 10. Height here will be 5 meters. So half into v squared. So you can get V squared will be equal to 100. So apply square root. You get velocity will be equals to 10 meters per second. So answer should be second one. Question number 20. Say the correct statement regarding the circulation of blood in human. First one. Always arteries contain oxygenated blood. This is wrong because pulmonary artery contains deoxygenated blood. The same applies to veins as well. All the veins except pulmonary vein will carry deoxygenated blood. Okay. So first one is wrong. Second, when circulate once to the body, blood goes twice to the lungs. It's not lungs, it should be heart. So that's what we call it as double circulation. So that's also wrong. Then third answer, left ventricle acts as a pump for systemic blood circulation. Yeah, that's correct. Left ventricle is the ventricle which supply blood to the whole part of the body, while right ventricle will supply blood only towards lungs. We call it as the pulmonary circulation. Okay, so right ventricle acts as a pump for pulmonary blood circulation. And third one is the answer. Let's read the fourth one as well. Always veins circulate blood away from the heart. That's wrong. Always arteries circulate blood away from the heart while veins carry blood towards the heart. So for 20th, answer number 3. 21. Few ways of connecting four resistors of equal magnitude are shown below. Of them, which one has the lowest equivalent resistance? So his MCQ point, lowest equivalent resistance can be gained when resistors are connected in parallel. So answer should be fourth one. Another small thing for you to remember, let's say you have 1000 ohm or 10,000 ohm and 1 ohm in a parallel combination. So the equivalent resistance of this will be less than 1 ohm. We can definitely say that, right? Which means you can write it somewhere. In a parallel combination, the value of equivalent resistance will be lower than the lowest resistor in that combination. Okay, so 21st, answer number 4. Question number 22. You have skin, kidneys, and pancreas. Of these, those that contribute to maintain homeostasis of the body are. So what is homeostasis? Homeostasis means maintaining constant internal environment. So for this, we should have skin. That's correct. We should have excretion well. Then we should have kidneys. That's also regarding excretion. Pancreas, you have insulin and glucagon, which maintains blood glucose level. So all the three are correct. Answer number 4, all A, B, C. Let's move on to question number 23. The graphs P and Q respectively indicate how the body temperature of the two organisms P and Q varies with the temperature of the environment. The organisms P and Q respectively can be. So you can see in organism Q, body temperature increases when environment temperature increases. Here you can see this. It keeps increasing, which means this organism Q should be apoikilothermic, or we call it as cold-blooded animals. And organism P, their body temperature remains constant even though environment temperature changes. So we call them as warm-blooded animals or homeothermic animals. So warm-blooded animals, there are only two groups. One is aves, another one is mammalia. By poikilothermic, you have three groups, that is pisces, amphibia, and reptilia. So let's consider the answers. First one, you have ox and bat. So both are warm-blooded. Fowl, it's aves. So you can take it as organism P. Tortoise is in reptilia group. So you can take that answer, answer number 2. Elephant and duck, you cannot take, both are warm-blooded. Frog and tilapia, both are cold-blooded animals. Question number 24. In which order does the brightness of the bulb decreases in the circuits A, B, C? Right. So first one, you have a normal dry cell and a bulb. Then second one, you have a resistor. And in third one, there's a wire connecting here, which means, it's an interesting point, the current will move through positive to negative through this wire and not going through the bulb. Why? Because current always like to go through the least resistant pathway, which means here C will have the lowest brightness. Then when you consider A and B, B has a resistor in series with the bulb, which means current in that will be lower than the current in A. So the brightness of A will be higher. So you get the answer as A, B, C. Answer number 1. Question number 25. Some information regarding an element are as follows. First, they say has several allotropic forms. Right. So remember the elements which shows allotropic forms. Carbon will show allotropic form. Sulfur is showing allotropic form. Silicon is showing allotropic form. So out of these, you can remove oxygen and iron. So the answer should be either carbon or sulfur. In the second point, they say one allotropic form conduct electricity, and then that difference should be carbon. In carbon, graphite form will be conducting electricity. Question number 26. Some functions of the human brain are given below. Here you have A, reception of sensors, B, maintaining balance of the body, C, control the rate of heartbeat. They're asking of the above, cerebellum controls, right? In A, reception of sensor is done by cerebrum. Maintaining balance, that is done by cerebellum. In part C, controlling rate of heartbeat, that's done by medulla oblongata. So answer should be only B. Answer number 2. Then 27th question. Rate of reaction increases when temperature increase. That's correct. Then the kinetic energy of reactant particles increase when temperature increase. That's also correct. So of these should be A and B, both are true. Let's move to question number 28. Which of the following phenomena cannot be explained by Archimedes' principle? So what is Archimedes' principle? When an object is completely or partially submerged in a fluid, the upthrust acting on it is equal to the weight of the displaced fluid. Okay, so keeping that in mind, let's read this. First, a ship cruising in the sea sinking more when entering into a river, and that's correct. So Archimedes' principle is mainly based on upthrust and its weight of the displaced fluid, right? So keep that in mind and let's find. So that's correct. Second, on a balloon filled with helium gas moving upwards, yeah, upward force is due to upthrust, that is created by gas here. The next one, floating of sunk orange seed in a glass of orange juice when dissolving sugar, and that's also correct. Next, lifting a large mass of hydraulic jack by applying a small force. You cannot take this. This comes under transmission of pressure through liquids. So you cannot take this. It's a kind of pressure thing. So for question number 28, answer is 4. Question number 29, the diagram shows a cross section of a cylindrical concrete ring kept on a flight of steps. Indicate A, B, C, D are which force can be applied by a man to roll in the upper level. What is the point at which force can be applied in the super roll it up the lowest force? Right. So for this, we should check what is the highest moment that we can get. Right. So to rotate this in this direction, we should have a higher moment with a very low force. Right. So moment is equal to force into distance. Right. So to make high moment with lesser force, we should increase the distance. Then you should find which point will give you the maximum distance from the point of rotation. So when you are rotating like this is the point where this will be in contact and the ring will be rotated through that step. So you should find the point which is furthest distance away from this point. So you can take either A or you can take either B. In this answer scheme, they gave answers to both A and B because you cannot find a direct link for this because A and B does not move through the diameter. So both answers are taken as correct. So answer A or B. You cannot take C and D because they are very shorter than A and B. Question number 30. When thin iron wool is heated, it instantly burns. But when iron nail is heated until red hot, it does not undergo considerable change. What conclusion can be drawn? See, iron acts as a catalyst. That's wrong. That's not a reason. Iron wool and iron nail undergo reaction different from each other. No, same thing, same element, iron. So it should undergo same reaction. Composition of iron wool and iron nail are different. No, composition is same. All are consist of all iron atoms. Then answer number 4, the rate of reaction depends on the physical nature, and that's correct. Because iron wool is very thin. It has high surface area, which means it has faster reaction rate. But considerably iron nail will have very low. So answer is answer number 4. 31. In 2011, the number of elephants in Sri Lanka was 5,879. What is the most suitable biological organizational level to denominate the number of elements? Right. So if you consider this statement, see, there is a given species living in a certain area in a specific time period, right? So all of these three contains in the definition of population. So answer should be population. If it is ecosystem, there should be a link between living and non-living things, and also there should be an interaction between them. If that's so, then the answer should be ecosystem. Question number 32. Select the correct option with regard to an NPN transistor. So here you can see you have base, emitter, and collector. Let's draw an NPN transistor. So NPN transistor, you have base, you have the collector, and you have the emitter. You can find the emitter by using this arrow. So mark NPN here. You can get NPN. Base is P, that's correct. Emitter and collect should be N. So answer is first one. Question number 33. The situation of transverse wave traveling on the surface of water at a certain moment is shown in the figure. They are asking the amplitude of the wavelength of this wave. So amplitude means the maximum displacement that this particle in the wave motion can have. So the maximum displacement is 4 centimeters and the wavelength is equal to twice of this half circles, which means it should contain like this. The length from one point to another point which have the same state of motion. So if one part of this is 5 centimeter, total wavelength should be 10 centimeters. So answer is answer number 2. 34. Which of the following statement is false about electroplating of iron? See, an aqueous solution of compound of the metal that is electroplated should be the electrolyte. That is correct. Answer number 2. The electrolyte should be in higher concentration for quality electroplating. That's wrong. When we are doing electroplating, we should make sure that we are doing this reaction very slowly, right? So for that, we are using very low current and very low concentration of the electrolyte. So they are telling it's high concentration, it's wrong. So false statement is answer number 2. Question 35. A conical flask containing aqueous hydrochloric acid is kept on a sensitive balance. Then pieces of limestones were added in excess. Which of the following graphs indicate how the balance reading varies against time after the addition of the limestone? Right. So you have to remember what happens when HCl or the hydrochloric acid is added into limestone, that is calcium carbonate. You can see carbonate and acid. So it surely should form carbon dioxide, water, and the relevant acid. Okay. So carbon dioxide is a gas, which means you cannot trap carbon dioxide within that given setup. Then carbon dioxide will be removing from the setup. As a result, reading should be lowered. So the graph which shows a lower reading or a decrease in reading is answer number 4. Question 36. The number of turns in the primary coil and the secondary coil are NP and NS. The voltage difference is Vp and Vs. Then what is the correct relationship between the number of turns and voltage difference? So it's very simple, right? NP over NS should be equal to Vp over Vs. So first one is the answer. If they ask regarding current, then it should be reciprocal, which means if they ask it with related to current, NP over NS will be equal to here IS over IP, which means current in the secondary coil over current in the primary coil. But for voltage, it will be similar, P over S, P over S. For current, it will be SOP. So 36, answer number 1. Question 37 and 40 are based on the information given in the following table. Let's read. 37. For the energy obtaining method of which house is only a non-renewable energy source is used. Okay. So we can check for the method of obtaining energy. Solar cells, we have national electric grid, electricity generator, and biogas unit. So non-renewable one is the biogas. So first one answer 37, answer number 4. 38. Which houses use the lighting device that largely contribute to pollute soil and water when improperly disposed into environment? So let's check under the column of lighting device. You have CFL bulbs, you have filament bulbs, fluorescent and biogas lamp. So pollution is maximum in CFL and fluorescent bulb. Why? Because it contains mercury, which is a heavy metal which can pollute soil as well as water when contaminated. So answer should be CFL and fluorescent bulb. Answer is A and C. First one is the answer. 39. Which house uses the cooking equipment that minimally contributes to pollute air inside the house? Let's say cooking equipment, you have LP gas, you have electric heater, kerosene, and firewood. So here you have in A, C, and D, everything you have a flame, which means there will be a gas that is emitted. Most probably it's carbon dioxide gas. For electric heater, there's no any combustion. So minimally contribute pollute air inside houses, it should be B. Last question, 40th one. What is a house that has taken most practical solutions to electricity and fuel crisis? So if you consider each and every row, for energy crisis, we should use something which is very reliable for us to use without any much of a cost. So for that, we can take D house. You have a biogas unit to obtain energy, which is natural. Then you have a lighting device of biogas lamp and firewood hearth, so that electricity is not consumed, right? So answer should be D. For other things, you have CFL bulbs, filament frozen bulbs, you need electricity. So practical solution should be D, answer number 4. So that's it. Thank you for listening. Subscribe for more past paper discussions.